Welcome to the podcast, Hannah.
Hello.
Great to have you here. Thank you for coming in. I'm going to let you quickly introduce yourself to the audience. So tell us whatever you think is relevant.
Cool. Well, hello. My name is Hannah. I am 23 years old. I currently work full-time as an assistant buyer at a big New Zealand retailer, which I love. And I'm also an aspiring actress as well. I know, which is something that's, one of my many passions and hobbies. And then I run about 6 different side hustles on the side.
I love it.
One being TikTok, obviously. Yeah, which I love.
I love that. 6 of these side hustles. Gosh, this is the generation of side hustles. It's so good.
I love it.
Look, I wanted to start off with a little bit about the backstory.
Yeah.
So TikTok's been your biggest platform that you're on.
Definitely.
I kind of want to know that journey real quick.
Yeah.
So just quickly take us back to when it started, how it started, and what was kind of like was it a blow up overnight journey, just something happened, or was it a slow steady build?
Yeah. Well, I actually in 2017 moved over to London and became a nanny.
Yeah.
And so that was amazing. It was such an incredible experience. I worked for one family which was ultra high net worth. So you're talking billions of dollars.
Cool.
And that was a really eye-opening experience for me. And Actually, I walked away with so many stories that I wanted to share. And when I jumped on TikTok, I started posting some I think my earlier stuff is just real average as, it didn't get many views at all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really want to provide, inspiration and content that people can resonate to and can save and can share and, So I thought, what can I do? And I was like, why don't I just share about my nannying experiences? And I posted a lot, and I posted a lot, which I didn't realize I actually went a little bit too far, and I started sharing stuff which I actually felt a little bit scared that the family would find out. So I deleted a lot of my content, so it's no longer there. But I guess that's how I definitely went from only a few hundred views to actually in the millions.
Crazy.
So then I think I grew from 0 to 20,000 pretty quickly.
What year was that?
This is 2000. This was lockdown. When was that? 2020.
2020. And so from then it's been pretty steady build.
Not really.
Is it step change?
Yeah. So it was 20,000 for a solid year.
Okay.
And then I was like, what else can I do? Because nannying stories are so limited. I only have 2 years of nannying experience.
Yeah.
And stories to share. And I kind of shared them all. And I was like, what can I do? And so that's when I started to talk about budgeting. Because I was a uni student at the time, I was like, okay, I've got heaps of side hustles. Why don't I share that? So I started sharing that, and then that's how I kind of grew.
And then that sort of become the channel, right? That sort of become the thing is budgeting.
Yes. Because it used to be nannying and I hated that. I was like, get me out. And it kept on pulling me back in. I was like, no, I want to be lifestyle. But it's definitely, you can tell that people are there for one specific reason. Fortunately, I've come out of nannying and I'm now into more budgeting and all that. So I'm glad that I'm out of the nannying experience though.
Yeah. Left that life behind.
Yes.
Tell me about budgeting. So why budgeting? I've watched a couple of your videos where you talk about it's something ingrained since childhood. But why a channel on that? Why is that something you want to give to your audience?
I guess because it started at such a young age. I shared one of my videos, which I think was probably my most viral, it's a video. And that was about my unique pocket money system that my parents did with me. And that people were they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe how different it was. And I guess from there, that's when I started to learn about the importance of budgeting and actually writing down my expenses, writing down how much I earn. And then, from there, I've just continued it for so many years and realized that my flatmates would come to me and say, hey, Hannah, how do you budget? And would ask me questions. I was like, why don't I just share this? It's something that I love. Why don't I just help other people and give them some tips?
Cool.
I did a financial minor at university.
Okay.
And I wanted to go into that, but then it just wasn't really fit for my personality. So I guess I'm kind of doing something like that, but
Where do you see it going? Where do you see that budget topic going? Do you see it having an end point, or do you see you doubling down into it?
I don't know. I don't know if I really want to I don't want that to be my complete niche. Yeah. I think I want people to really, follow me for me rather than just for learning something. But that's really hard because I think a lot of people are just they want to be there for the content which they can learn something from. So it is hard getting out of it. Yeah. But I do like it. I share monthly expenses. I share how much I earn and all that. Yeah. Bit vague, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you would prefer to have a channel that's more influencer status,
Yeah.
like that sort of day in the life
Yes,
content. What
yes.
makes you want that? Like what draws you to that?
I think it's so broad.
Yeah.
And I have so many things that I'm doing that I'm like budgeting and all that. It's just like one tiny, tiny part
Yeah.
of me, you know?
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to grow it into more things that I love and more about me and my personality and my passions.
Yeah.
You know? But that's really difficult because people just aren't interested.
Yeah. Have you tried other stuff?
I've tried daily vlogs and
Yeah.
that just
Didn't
doesn't
work?
No.
And what do you, when you say it doesn't work, like what does that mean to you? Like what
People
is
just don't
something doesn't-
resonate with it. You know, they don't, I don't know, they're not there for it. They're not following me for that. So I'm like, okay, fine.
How much have you tried?
Oh, I did like the daily vlogs. You know, when the carousel finally came out,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And so that, you know, was okay.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of got a little bit bored, and then it kind of just died off.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried it that much,
Okay.
maybe like 20 times or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So it's at the moment it's about growth for the channel and
Yeah.
budgeting's working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Talk to me about that. Like, what are you doing with this audience who are coming here for budget? Like, are you? I seen on like your link tree, you've got like a budget template that people can download and stuff. Like, what are you hoping to do with that? Like, what are you trying to give them outside of content? Is there anything, or is it just content? Just giving
Not
them
really.
value?
I think just content. I think I want people to, because when I was at school, my teacher said to me, "You're never ever going to own a house."
Yeah, well.
She said that to my generation, and I think that's not true at all.
Yeah.
You know, I've fortunately managed to have my own house, but I really want to inspire the people that they can.
Yeah.
And despite what everyone else says, despite what the world
Yeah.
says, and what teachers are saying, I think it is possible.
Yeah.
You just need to be smart and savvy with your money, and you can definitely make it work. It's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
So I want people just to be inspired. But okay, you don't need to go out and when you go into town, take an Uber home. You can bus home. Like you can. I just want to give them like new ideas and new ways of thinking about money and what they're spending, and just kind of inspire them.
Yeah,
I think that's really what I'm doing. I'm just trying to inspire.
Are you getting many people like giving you that feedback that that's what's happening?
Yeah. I had one girl say, especially the pocket money system,
Yeah.
she's like, this has just completely changed my life.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm doing this with my kids. She's like, I've got a night tonight where I'm sitting down with my kids and my partner, and we're going to just talk about the system, and we're going to implement it straight away. And other people came to me and say, hey, can I have your advice on this? And I'm like, I'm not a financial advisor. You know, I've done a little bit of study, but
Yeah.
I want to be able to give at least some kind of advice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of your journey and your budgeting journey,
Yeah.
because like, I mean, from the little bit of what I've
Yeah.
watched, it seems as though like you've got it all together on that.
Hmm.
Has there been any moments like when you're in London or anything like that where like you budget like came under pressure, like where you know like you really got tested with your methods? Has that ever happened, or you've been really rock solid with it?
I'm not the person that goes, okay, I've got $250 in my food. I can't spend anything else. Okay, I'm going to starve myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very much like, okay, if I go over, then I'll have to borrow it from another account, not even my savings.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Yeah.
It will be from another account, shopping.
Okay,
you
cool.
know, so I'm like, I will always make sure that I am sticking to it in some sense, but I will always allow for fluctuations, you know.
Yeah.
So if in London, obviously it's so much more expensive, but then I wasn't paying rent. I wasn't paying for food. And so it definitely varied a lot more. But I'm not the kind of person that's like, sorry, I can't come out, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've got a budget.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be known as that.
Yeah.
But it's just I want to be very smart. So when I go out, you know, I'm just thinking, okay, what's the best way to save money
Yeah.
while still having the same amount of fun?
Yeah. How do you see it like with your friends? Like, because you know that's
Yeah.
in today's world, it's like not a normal thing to budget like this. Like,
Yeah.
how is it with your mates? Like, do they learn from it and adapt, or are they just still young people doing dumb stuff with money?
I tried to implement it with my flatmates.
Yep.
I don't know if it lasted because it is really, I think it's a habit, you know,
Yeah,
and I've been
yeah.
reading Atomic Habits, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time to build a habit.
Yep.
And I think for me, because it's so ingrained within me that I'm like, it's just so easy. You know, I sit down and, you know, at the end of every week, or I'll just go through how much I spent and I just write it down. And for me, it's just so easy, but it takes a long time to get that habit. And so it's totally understandable that people give up because they just haven't got that habit and that self-discipline, you know? So... yeah, I don't know about my friends though.
Nah.
I hope I've inspired someone.
Yeah, funny. Do you get branded as that friend, like the budget friend? Like, are you the Connor in the group? Like, Connor's that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Connor's the tight ass, and his. You don't sound like tight ass, but he's the tight ass.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be known as that. Sorry, Connor.
He's
but
proud of it. Don't worry.
I definitely have had friends. didn't actually want to tell anyone that I owned a house. That was something I kept extremely quiet. And the few people that I did tell, they started to definitely use me. We'll take Hannah's car. Let's just take Hannah's car, you know. Hannah can buy it. It's like, you know, just because I own a house doesn't mean that I'm rich. I actually am poorer than all of you because I've got a mortgage, you know. And I I think it's my goal to not be known as the person that is real stingy, but to be known as someone that's really giving. Cool. And I have that allowance in my budget as well to be able to give. But I've definitely seen people kind of try and use me, which is really
interesting.
sad.
That's shitty.
Yeah.
Why not tell people about the house? Like, is it so they don't take advantage, or are you just worried about what people will think because they're not at that same place?
I guess. And I did actually, you know, finally talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I made
talked about it now. Yeah. All our 7 listeners. Yeah.
And then I did make a podcast on it because I did get help from my parents. Yeah. And the reason why I didn't want to talk about it, and I was so hesitant with TikTok, is that I knew as soon as I talked about the fact that I got help from my parents, everyone would disregard my hard work. And I saved for so long. I started saving when I was like 12 for the house. I had my house account and I was so excited to save. And I just knew that the comments that people were going to say were really going to hurt me. And so I was very hesitant. So I've actually only talked about my parents helping me on my podcast. So if people were interested and they listened to that, then I think, they're not really going to be the haters that go and actually listen to my podcast.
Exactly.
So
they're a different level of audience, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. There's small budget stuff I want to get into, but before we do, I want to know more about these 6 side hustles. So I'm going to just write here because I was having a look around and obviously like I didn't really count TikTok as one, but of course it's one. Yeah. And so when you say TikTok as a side hustle, are you meaning it from like brand deal perspective and like UGC stuff that you get done?
Well, I never really thought of it as a business at all until I was like, actually, this is consuming a lot of my day. It's like 2 hours every day, you know, of just making sure I research, going, okay, what's on trend? What do people want? What are people asking me, you know? And so, brand deals, I think I've finally signed up to.
Cowboys?
They're amazing. So they're definitely helping me a lot. So I've got some in the pipeline, which is really exciting. But that definitely takes a long time. Each video is like hours. I think one of them that I did a while ago was like 5 hours of work by the time you go back and forth with the brand. So it is really a business.
100%. Yeah, there's heaps of work involved in that content. And
I know.
This is half the reason we started this podcast is because of like how much work there is and how like in my mind, how little there is paid for it. Relatively. Okay, so this TikTok.
Yes.
And you say you've only recently signed up with No Said Cowboys. I mean, they've only been around 4 months now or something like that anyway with Tony and that. But like, what were you doing before that? Like, were you doing brand deals before that just individually with brands yourself? How long have you been doing that?
I think my first one came across September.
Oh, yeah. So real recent. So it's like 6-7 months. 8 months.
Yeah. Well, because I really only got... I think I jumped from like 20 to 80,000, which is still not a lot in comparison to a lot of other people. It's I'm very small. But that only happened over December and January.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
And that was because of my pocket money system video. Yeah. So that's what really I
it's
saw
all it takes,
jump.
right?
Yeah.
It takes one big one like that. And how much of that are you willing to share? Like what sort of...
Yeah.
I mean, you probably... I understand contractually you probably can't talk about individual deals. But like... Is that like, do you see that coming in regularly? Like, is there one or two a month? Is it multiple? Like, what's the sort of like volume you're getting through deals?
Well, I think in my budget, I've actually got my budgeted revenue that I hope to get is $300 per month, which is very, very small. I charge a bit more than that for my videos now. But I think in comparison, because I'll get, one every 3 months. So it's divvied up, you know.
Cool.
But I used to only be getting just a few $100s for stuff. One brand asked me for $100 and I was really keen. And then they didn't reply. And I was like, oh my gosh, please reply, for $100. $100. And now it's, it's definitely a bit more.
And, okay, so you got TikTok, like, that's one thing. Then I've seen from what I could see, and maybe there's more, but there's like the Dear Brides or the New Zealand wedding content creator. Yes. So that just for me, because I got a bit confused. Yeah. Is Dear Brides and that New Zealand wedding the same thing?
Yes.
And is it New Zealand wedding now for SEO purposes? Is that what you've done? Or?
So Dear Brides is a wedding content creation. Yeah. And I'm the only one in New Zealand so far.
And what's the difference between because the TikTok pages NZ Wedding content creators?
That's so I did that because I used to have Dear Brides. I was like, people have no idea what it is. So my name is New Zealand Content Creator, but my handle is Dear Brides on TikTok.
Got it. And you've done that for searchability and like what people can recognize. That's cool. Okay, tell me about Dear Brides, because I love it. I said to Joni last year that like, if I could be bothered, we should do this because that would pop off.
Yes.
Tell me about it. Like, tell me the journey. Where did it come from? How did you get to this point?
So it was New Year's Day. Or New Year's Eve. And my sister's like, oh my goodness, Hannah, have you seen that there's something called wedding content creation? You know, you should jump on it.
Yep.
So literally that night, everyone's playing games, having fun. And I just jump on my laptop, and my website that I already had set up with Shopify. I just added in a little page, Dear Brides. And I was like, cool. And just wrote stuff. And she's fifth year law student, so she kind of helped me with, okay, what do you need to add stuff, you know, what do you need to add into your media kit that you're sending out to people, and I just literally just right then and there I was like, sweet, I'm going to do it.
Nice.
And so then I set up the account. I've actually got on my to-do list to redo the branding because I hate it. It's very, very tacky, but I guess it's just something that I definitely see a massive trend, especially with Sophia Richie's wedding. We got to see more behind the scenes and raw and authentic feel of her wedding, and I think people, and especially celebrities, are going to start doing that because they're inspired. And so I think it's really exciting to have something like this. And so I've got my first wedding coming up in 2 weeks. They're flying me to Queenstown, which I'm really excited. I know. And then I did a shoot on Saturday as well, which I just posted today.
Nice.
So it's really, really exciting. And I think there's going to be quite a bit of work that's coming up. Had quite a lot of people reach out. So
cool. And you say first wedding, like first gig or
no?
First,
meaning my first paid
gig.
Everything else, I've done packages, but they've been gifted.
Yeah, of course. You got to build it from somewhere, right? And plus, you've got to get the experience.
Exactly. Because I was a little bit nervous. I was like, can I do it? Can I do it? But I'm like, I know that I can because I love content. I love creating videos. And then we did a shoot on Saturday, and I think it turned out quite cool. No, that's great. So I love it. It's really cool.
With that, because I was having a little look around. From a pricing perspective, you've got ask for pricing, so you don't have to share it if it's thing. But what's the ranges that you have? Like, how do you charge for that?
So
is you traditional photography sort of pricing, or what do you look at?
Not at all. So I had originally it was $399 for my cheapest package, and it went up to like $999. And then I approached some friends, and they said, you are so undercharging yourself, like massively. So I've now upped it. I think my cheapest package is $599. It goes up to $1,500. So it's definitely but it's really
so fucking cheap.
Is it still too cheap?
It's like a fifth of the price of what wedding photographers charge.
I know. But the thing, I guess
like a fifth of the price.
Really?
Yeah, as an entry, like you wouldn't get a wedding photographer for less than $5,000.
See, I have no idea.
I don't even think as mates rates when I photograph friends' weddings I've done it.
Really?
Nah.
But then the difference is like they've got professional photography camera and everything, and I'm just on my iPhone.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter. It's not. It's when you're producing photography or videography, there is an element of like, look at me, look at all my gear. I get it. And look, in photography, you have to have that gear. As good as these things are, they're never going to beat a really good camera.
Exactly.
But video, that's a different thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because it's the style that you're going for.
And it's the first of its kind, because videography is all horizontal. And so this is the only way to get vertical shots. So maybe I am too low. I don't know.
Oh no, for sure. You are, but what you're trying to do is when you start in these places, like the market is new.
Yes.
What I think though is what my advice to a lot of people in the space is that it's a trend, and it'll only be time before wedding photographers and videographers realize they have to flip their cameras sideways.
Yeah.
And it's not hard for them to take their $20,000 setup and just right? It's not hard.
Yeah.
And so you've got a limited window to capitalize on a trend that's about to blow up.
Yeah.
And look, wedding season's just started.
Yeah.
It's going to go into it more. There'll probably be a bigger wedding season in spring this year.
True.
Like, if someone's going to pay for you to do it, the price doesn't matter with weddings.
Right, yeah.
Like,
because they blow a lot of money on weddings.
Yeah. Like, I used to work in hotels, right?
Yeah.
So you run a 200 packs or 200 people per person dinner is like $95 a head. As soon as they say, oh, it's for a wedding, it's $195. And there's nothing changes. No, it's wedding tax. Like everyone knows. Photographers is the same. Like you do an 8-hour photographer. So Chris is not because Chris is a photographer, right? This is his trade.
Yeah.
If you do an 8-hour shoot with a photographer, it might cost you $1,500. Let's say, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You make that a wedding one,
Yeah.
and it's now $12,000.
Why is that? Because of the pressure, or
just because of the value to the person.
Yeah, right.
Like it's one of 3 times they're going to get married.
Yeah.
And so they need to capture it. Like, let's be honest, it's the world we live in today. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jokingly, but like, you know, like it is a once in a lifetime sort of thing for most people. So you want to capture it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to make sure those. And look, wedding photographers have to deal with bridezillas, and that's a whole real thing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason you have on wedding tax as well. Like the administration of a wedding is so much harder.
Yes.
There's so many more like client meetings with them wedding, post wedding, the amount of like stuff you got to go back and forth on.
Yeah.
Like there's so much more administration.
Yes.
Then going, oh, I'm just going to do some headshots for you.
Like, exactly. And I think I didn't realize, you know, with this Queenstown wedding that I've got, I didn't charge anything for the travel. And I'm like, wait, hang on. Like I'm spending all Friday, all Sunday, which means I can't do anything else. But I'm doing it because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm stoked. But yeah, I'm like going forward, nah. I probably should.
Your bottom package, like less than 3K. I get it because like authority, like sort of your social proof and your portfolio isn't there.
Yeah.
And I get it that there's like a thing around it that it's new and people aren't really sure.
Yeah.
But like $2,000 to $3,000 for someone on their like wedding day for videography is peanuts.
Yeah, because
like peanuts.
You're gonna cringe at like, okay, so when I first put out my little PDF package, so it was $399 for 6 reels and like 60 images, and then my gold package was like $999 for 10 reels, and then I showed my sister, she's like, what? No. And so I'm like taking it fully back. So it's now 6 reels they get.
You know what? This is the funniest thing with output on wedding. Actually, I think this is like the wedding photographers and stuff probably got this wrong a little bit, is that a lot of them have an output.
Yeah.
And they're really strict on it. Like,
yes.
And I think that's the dumbest part of their packages because they already charge excessive.
Yeah.
You're not charging for output, actually. You're charging on value. Like there's a value proposition here that this is once in a lifetime thing that I should be doing. I need to be spending the money to capture this moment to relive for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So if you like, you might have you get a minimum of this.
Yes.
You should like if there's an extra 5 reels, then deliver it.
Yeah.
Because then what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
They're going to tell their mates like, they're so good. Like you should book her too. Like all this sort of crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're way too cheap. Like way too cheap. Honestly, like that bottom package.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's only 3 hours though.
It doesn't matter.
So really, okay, because the first one's 3 hours.
It's not 3 hours. Yeah. How much work?
No, not really.
From a wedding photographer's sort of side of things.
Yeah.
The reason we do charge a lot is, as Stan was saying, is the pre-shoot, the post-shoot.
Yeah.
I just shot a wedding for a friend last month, and they were at my place on the weekend as we were going through the album. So post-wedding, we're going through the album, designing the photo album. That was 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so I've already charged them months ago.
Yeah.
And so you've got to think, you're not doing just 3 hours.
Yeah,
because you've got to do all the editing. You've got to do the post-processing.
Yeah.
You wait until this paid gig, because now they've paid you, it needs to be to their level.
Yeah.
The amount of micro edits they make on your reels.
Yeah, true.
Like,
trust
me, we do this for a living. They will be back with a fine-tooth comb going, can you just like zoom in a little bit on frame 10?
Really?
Can you please just like brighten up this? And that will just, and because it's a wedding, it's got to be perfect.
Yes,
and they paid you for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with where you've set your pricing at the moment, because that's how business works. Like you find out the market.
Yes.
But I'm telling you right now, that minimum package needs to be, like when you said $399, I thought you said $3,999. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. She knows what she's doing. Yeah. I would just add a 0. Oh, the 1,500 one. I mean, you're at 5.9. No, you're at 599. Sorry. You're at 599. So I would not be balking at 299 and 599 probably as a top package, right? Yeah. given all the circumstances, like photographers will be charging way more than that at their top package.
Yes, yeah.
You're not really there because they've got portfolio. It's different. It's a different business proposition.
Because I'm there for 12 hours for the gold.
3 to 5. 3 to 6.
And then 3 hours of editing as well.
3 to 6. Minimum 3 to 6K. Nah, honestly, like...
Because I guess...
$600? Like, are you kidding?
I guess the
we
thing
wouldn't
is...
make one video for someone for $600.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Like we made one video the other day for 1NZ for 15 grand. But that's different.
Yeah,
We're different
yeah.
ballparks. But $600.
Yeah, people do pay. But
It's someone's wedding.
True. True.
This is what Stan's Planning was created
No,
for.
this is
exactly
really, really
what
good.
Stan's Planning was created
helpful because I guess because it is my first wedding coming up,
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of like emails and then like another second call and then a lot of my time going into all the admin. And then, like I said, I'm taking half a day off work, which is I'm losing half a day that I'm actually being paid to just to travel there and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah. You got to factor in all the... So, this is why I want to get into this because where's your budget for the brides? Dear brides, where's your budget? Like, how do you budget these shoots?
I haven't even got one.
I know. And I knew you wouldn't.
What?
And like you talk about budgets a lot, but you haven't applied it to business. And I think
No.
like you have the fundamentals. And the moment you add, if you go home and you add up all the costs for this weekend,
Yes, yeah.
every single cost,
Yeah.
because you, as I've seen from your videos, you write every cost down.
Yeah.
But start writing opportunity cost.
Okay.
So I'm no longer doing this because I'm doing
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
what's the cost there?
Yeah.
And put a value to it.
Yeah.
And add it up.
Yeah, true.
How much is this a big one? This is a 1,500 one or a 600 one?
Right, yeah.
Which one is this weekend?
Oh, this one's gold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, gold,
okay.
gold. Yeah.
So watch how fast your 1,500
Yeah.
gets eaten up.
Yeah, true. Especially because it's 3 days.
Because what's your value hourly, right? Because it's not what you earn at work.
Yeah.
Because that's different.
Yeah.
Because at work you're not finding clients. It's not your
No,
business. You
yeah.
don't get all the benefit of capital gains and all that sort of stuff. You get paid a wage.
Yeah.
But at the moment you take that wage, let's just call it $30 an hour,
Yeah.
and you go into your own business,
Yeah.
you have to at least 5x it
Oh, really?
because
Yeah.
there's so many hidden costs.
Yes.
Because the
yeah.
hour of work you do takes 4 to 5 hours of work to get that 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
How much time, like how much have you spent on your website hosting already?
How much? Oh, hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, building it
Yeah.
plus hosting it, that's probably costing
Well, I
you
guess
$30 a month.
hosting is because it's tied in with data series. So I've kind of like
Yeah,
chucked it in.
of course, chucking on top. But still,
Yeah.
there's like costs involved.
Yeah.
You got, so there's a lot of hidden costs that people
Yeah,
don't do
definitely.
if they don't budget properly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's quite interesting because Dear Brides is like probably the last thing on my priority list as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't need it. Like I really don't need the wedding. I don't need to be going and so really I could
So
be
just jack price in.
Yeah.
This is the best thing because like if
Yeah.
you don't need it, you
Yeah.
can go super premium.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
other thing too, right, is like psychologically, if I'm a bride and I've just got the $7,000 photography package
Yeah.
from a photographer,
Yes.
and then I've got a $600 package from you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, can she
Right,
do this?
yeah.
Like, can she do this? Like,
Yes.
this is a 10th of the price or like
Yeah,
a
I
12th
see.
of the price.
Yeah.
People do think that, like,
Yeah.
there is no reason to buy a Rolex
Yeah.
except the fact that everyone knows a Rolex is worth 5 figures.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. That's nothing. I mean, like, people can talk about the engineering behind it and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it does one job,
Yes.
and it does it worse than an Apple Watch.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because like
Yeah.
at least this can do more than one job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're
Yeah.
going into these, like, price is a real big thing. It's a status thing too, and like
Yeah, true.
brides, especially like the brides who can afford this sort of stuff. Another $3,000's nothing. They've already spent 80 grand on this wedding.
Yeah. True. And it's usually just their dad's or their parents' money anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Or their sugar daddy,
Yeah.
whoever's paying for it all. You know, like it just depends, right?
Yeah.
Depends on the age
No,
bracket,
true.
right?
And I do
if it's
think-
their first or third wedding.
I think there is definitely, we'll hopefully see it kind of
Yeah.
grow.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should just do it.
Well, I'm nervous though because I've sent out like my packages to 30 people. If they say, yeah, can I book you?
Nah.
Am I able to say, hey, I've got a different price?
Nah.
I can't say that.
No, but who cares? There's still more people. No,
Wait,
you
do
can't.
I actually,
No, you can't.
like,
That's shit. If you go and here's my pricing, and then they come back,
Yeah.
that's shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if I've like grown heaps?
Or
Ooh.
it depends on like. Okay, who are these people? Where do they come from?
TikTok.
So they've asked you for pricing? No, too bad. But in saying that, you could, like, if they don't get married anytime soon, like if whatever reason is 6 months down the track or something, and they get back in contact, what you could, but what I would do first is go back and follow up those people and say, hey, look, are you still interested? There's price changes happening from July. If you want to lock it in, cool, go for it. But just to let you know, this will be the changing in pricing because of demand, and I have to limit my availability. But I want to honor your pricing for the next 30 days if you want it.
Because I think I set all these out because one video did relatively well in January. So that's still nearly 5 months ago. So surely they can expect.
Just say by the end of June, these prices won't be available. Prices going up from July.
Okay.
And then you can.
Just to be nice.
Then it's fine. Then it's fine. But you can't be like, oh, hey, we're $1,000, and then they say yes. You're like, by the way, it's $8,000. That's a dick move.
True.
It's just part and parcel of the learning business. No, that's good. I like it. Okay, cool. So we got something there.
Wow.
And it's good that it's like a tack on because they're the best ways to do it because you can go all in, like as in price. But imagine if you got like in a wedding season, you had one a weekend. And you were getting $4 or $5 grand. And that's like 8 weeks in a row. And you just made, I don't know, 32 grand.
I was doing the financials. I was like, okay, that means I have to do like 3 weddings to make the money that I'm earning currently for a whole month. That's actually quite a lot of weddings in a month to make up my salary. Because that's like every weekend, which means I can't be hanging out with friends or can't be doing other things. So I'm like, actually, it's not nearly as good as I thought.
And weddings don't happen all year long. They're seasons. They're in the shoulder seasons. Like they don't happen in peak summer. They don't happen peak winter. Too cold. Everyone's on holiday. So they happen for like, I don't know, 4 months of the year, 5 months of the year. 5, 6, The shoulder months is usually the main things. Look, in New Zealand you get more summer weddings than you would in other, like in Australia, because it's not that hot here. But so like 6 months of the year. So you don't need 3, you need 6. Because what are you going to do in the winter months? When it's not coming through, right? So my first thoughts on that is like jack the price up. Just whatever you can, like, just practice in the mirror, telling people, oh, look, it's $3,000 for that. Because if you can't do that, you can't do it. A real good example of this, like, pricing thing. I say this to Connor actually with his shirts, and then everyone told him his shirts are too expensive.
Oh, no.
He's still got sales, so it's fine. I have a friend who does public speaking, and she was going out with this new package, this thing that I would help her sort of develop. And she's like, oh, I'm going to charge like $1,100 for it. And I'm like, you are going after C-suite executives of like big companies whose company will pay for it. Like this is like $4,000 minimum. And like she got all a bit giddy about it. Anyway, jacked her price, put it to $399, whatever it is. Has 12 participants every session. Has sold out ever since for the last 2 and a bit years. Every 2 months. She's probably 3 years older than you. And she gets, so what's that, like 48 grand?
Wow.
Or, about 30. I think after expenses, it's like $30-something thousand every 2 months. Which would have been, after expenses, would have been like 8 grand. You know, like, and no change. Like, lots out every time. Every single time sells out.
Wow.
It's just because, like, you've got to understand, like, where do people sit when you're at this price range? You got to be bulk. Like you got to do bulk. You don't do it. You're just a sales and marketing agent. You send some dude who's just like, hey bro, you need some work for the weekend, go shoot this thing. You're trying to, like, at this model, you're like undercutting the market to try to do volume. So if you're not doing 12 weddings a weekend, you're not gonna make money. It's not a business.
Well, I actually was thinking of, you know, maybe making it into more of an agency where I have people under me and actually train them up. Because I have a very unique style, and I would hate for someone to shoot at someone's wedding. They'd be really disappointed and get angry at me, you know? So it's really nerve-wracking because I'm like, I have such a unique style. And I guess, you know, I could just train people. But do you think that'd be something I probably should look at?
Look, as you grow it, you can, but all these sorts of businesses start with like the person doing themselves, figuring it out. Like you can always get people to help it. Like if you're charging $6 grand to do a 12-hour shoot, you can afford an offsider for the day, right? To help you do all the shit as well. You can train them up to be as good as you. It's a different story. You can't do that when you're getting $600. Like
I did think about that.
You can't.
as an example, in the photography side of things, we quite often get a second photographer in to help us assist with shoots, and we're paying them maybe $50 to $70 an hour for a shoot.
Yeah.
So if you think that you're doing $3 or $4 grand and you've got someone in for maybe 4 hours, you're paying them $200-$300.
Yeah.
And then you can train them up to your style so that when you do get to that agency side, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's really good.
So like if you think about that, like a 12-hour shoot, it's $70 an hour, which is like off-sider, didn't have to do anything, just got to turn up.
Yeah.
It's $850 of your $1,500.
Yeah.
So it's like $650 additional to someone who just has to do like ad hoc stuff. I don't have to have a website. I don't have to have a brand.
True.
I just have to know a bunch of wedding photographers and be like, hey, I'll run and gun for you.
Yeah.
And if you're like super reliable and always say yes, you'll get all the work you want.
Yeah.
So just do that.
Yeah.
Like that's easier.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. So then tell me about this.
So yeah, Dear the series. So I guess there's 3 things in one because I can't really afford 3 different $600 Shopify packages.
Yep.
So yeah, Dear the series kind of started first, and I've always wanted to own my own business.
Yeah, cool.
And it wasn't until I was listening to Girls Invest, and she said, start a business that you're like marginally better than someone else in. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then I was like, wait, I love journaling. Like I love writing. What could I do? Like and I know that journaling's helped me so much in my mental health and me like growing up. And if I can't talk to someone, I'd write. And so I'm like, why don't I create this, turn it into a business? And I was like, actually people are really daunted by the fact that they open up a book and it's just like white. And they're like, what can I write? Like they don't know what's okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I start a prompted journals? Like prompted journals, really focusing on self-help and self-development and mental health because that's so big. And so, that's when it started. I had the idea on the 9th of January last year.
Nice.
I finished my first book within 2 weeks after that.
Yep.
And then launched in November. And so I've got 25 different stockists around New Zealand, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Like AC Home Store,
Yeah.
Shut the Front Door, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. I've got my second book. I actually have them in my bag.
Pull them out. Get some
really?
publicity.
Okay.
Fuck, why not? 8 people will see this.
Oh, I actually haven't even released the second one, so I can't bring out that one. But I'll bring out the one that I've already released.
Yeah, good.
Exclusive
release. Drop it on Stans, lady.
I don't know if this is... Oh, yeah, this is actually my one. So there's actually my personal writing in it. So. But yeah, this is it here.
Yeah.
So it's Dear Future. And I kind of designed it so that it looked like a coffee table book as well.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like it.
Because I realized that, you have your journal out. You don't want it to look super tacky like Kmart. So you want something that's really beautiful. And if you're not into journaling, you can still have it and it looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks really beautiful.
Have you got any blank pages you can show us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are kind of
cool.
the examples of the prompts. So do I think that traveling into space will ever become more feasible? This is like the fun chapter.
Yeah, cool.
But really this book is designed for people that aren't futuristic and want to start thinking of their future. Because I am very futuristic.
Yep.
I know what I want to do in 10 years.
Yep.
Like I know everything. I know, what house I'm going to live in. Because that's just my personality. But I know that there's people that don't know what they're doing next week.
Yep.
They don't know what they're going to do next year. And so I was like, why don't I create something? So for example, we've got some really beautiful... quotes and everything throughout it.
Nice.
But I've got financial goals. If I won $2 million, what would I do with it? What are my financial goals? Do I think money will ever be an issue for me? Do I keep a budget? What am I putting in place today to ensure that I'll be better off financially for the future? What might hold me back from reaching my financial goals and dreams? And then I kind of go into depth about like my overall 20-year goals. I go into 20 years as well. So it's like intense. So when people buy it when they're in their 80s, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I feel so sorry for them. But yeah, so I've got like comfort goals, connection goals. So it's really all about goals. I'm very goal driven.
Yeah.
And so this book was definitely more for me. But yeah, then my second book, and I want to grab it and show you, but
maybe off camera.
Yeah. It's really cool. So it's basically more, it goes into depth about who you are.
Yeah.
So like, did you receive attention from your parents? Did you not? Like, what has that had an effect on you today?
Interesting.
What's your self-image? What do you think about your body? What do you love? What do you don't like?
Yeah.
And it goes really deep.
Yeah.
Really, really, really
Cool.
deep. So yeah, haven't released that yet. I'll be releasing it very, very soon.
How did you pull those together? Like, was that just you sitting down, or did you work with someone on it, or how did you come up with it?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was Easter last year, and I just wrote the 3 books. So this one, the next one, and then the one after that. And it just came to me.
Yeah,
Get
cool.
different questions, different prompts to help people. So it's really exciting. But it's definitely taken a lot longer than I thought to have picked up,
Yeah.
So it's challenging.
How was it going? Like, what can you share? Like, how many copies are you selling?
So I brought in 1,000 books from China. Cool. And my factory over there, they're amazing. And I've sold half of them.
Cool. Nice.
So I brought them in. They arrived in November.
Yeah.
So I sold through half last month. So it's quite and I guess because I work as a buyer, so I do work with numbers and I do work with products and all that. So that's really helped me in terms of how much do I charge, what markup, margin, FIS, MOQ, all that. That's what I deal with every day. So it's definitely slow. We're going into recession, so it's very hard, very, very hard for me to be, it's an expensive book. It's like $59.99 in some stores, $69.99 in some stores. I charge $54.99 on my website.
Yeah.
And so it's, I guess, not that expensive, but
Yeah. Again, it's value proposition, right? Like, people talk about going into recession and stuff, but like, at the end of the day, this is a luxury item. You're not going to get some like person who's struggling to put food on the table buying this anyway in good times.
Yeah,
like, so
and it's a gift.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my target market. I think I was originally going, I want the 18 to 20. It's like, no, it's actually a gift product. And I have a lot of people message me and say, hey, I got it for my birthday. I'm like, that's my ideal kind of target market, is those people that are like, what can I give my daughter or my cousin or someone that's a really thoughtful gift?
Yeah.
So that's why I've created these books.
And do you promote it just through your channels, or have you got any other sales technique outside of distribution in the stores at Stockists? How else are you getting people here?
Honestly, it's very, very slow.
Yeah.
B2C is extremely slow.
Yeah.
And I want to pick it up. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my sales through, I'll have a store, hey, can I order another, 10? Great. So that's how I'm selling my books.
Perfect.
But it's really, really hard. I'm only probably selling like 3 a month.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It definitely was. I think I've sold 50 B2C so far.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. And with the Stockists, how are they just selling it because it's on the shelf? Like, is there any additional promotion that's happening there or anything? No.
I really wanted them to push it for Mother's Day, and they
Yeah.
didn't, which I was really gutted about. I was like, this is perfect for Mother's Day. Yeah. Why would you not put it in, the Mother's Day carousel?
Yeah.
And I asked them to. I gave them web copy. I gave them new images. I really tried to push it. But Dear Future, I guess it is definitely more slightly younger. Yeah. Whereas I think Dear Secret. That's my new book.
Oh, a bit of.
That's okay. That's the new book. But
right, we can beat that. Now everyone's going to be like, oh, these guys know what it is.
No, that's all right. But that book's definitely more for anyone, really.
Yeah.
Like my grandma could use it. And I think it would be really beautiful for her to write in it. And then it's a book like this one here, you're meant to pass it down. It's like an heirloom piece.
Cool.
Whereas my next one is meant to be something that you just, it's just for you because it's very deep. But it's harder than I thought.
Oh yeah. Product is real hard to do. Like and everyone thinks it's like, oh, just do this thing and I'll put it up and I'll build it and they should come. And it's
I know,
like,
because I've got it in
Max.
Max. Max stores brought 12.
Okay.
They've got to try it. And I'm waiting to hear back if it's done well.
Yeah.
Because they're huge. Like that's 30 stores. If they all brought 10 each, that's massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
So I'm really wanting to push it. So we'll see. Yeah.
What have you done to push it yourself? Like on your channel?
Not much.
Yeah.
I have obviously the Instagram.
Yeah.
But I guess again I'm just so busy that I'm focusing all my time on Dear Community. Whereas Dear the series is just like, I can't be bothered. I've got a grid all planned out. I know what I want to be posting.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't understand Instagram analytics and Instagram ads.
Why are you not like, you talked about at the start, what else outside of budgeting? Why aren't you bringing journaling into teaching? Because it kind of is part and parcel of building habits and improving yourself, right?
Yes.
Which is the same as budgeting.
Yeah.
So why not just like fold that content into what you're currently doing?
I have tried a little bit, I'm like, because I go through 7 different journals. I'm currently working through 7 and I threw in that one, or I did one of my videos, did really well, got I think 500,000 views. It was just me showing how many journals I've been through the past 15 years. And then I replied to someone's comment and said, this is my business. And that got okay. It was like 20,000 or something. And I don't know if it really converted. I think influencer marketing, I've tried that. I've tried it as gifts. I haven't paid anyone, and I get a few sales. But it is slow.
Yeah, because those like old, like there was that time for a while where like bullet journals became like you couldn't get away from it. But like people love that shit.
Yeah.
And I reckon that it can't be too far away from the same audience if you frame it the right way.
Yeah.
If you frame it as in like, this helps me, gather my thoughts, build habits, grow into the future, which is the same thing your budgets are doing.
Yes, true.
Like it can't be that far away. Like it'll take some practice and design, but like we talked about this yesterday, Connor and I, with a potential client about like selling stuff this way.
Yeah.
And people, it just doesn't work the way it used to, especially after the last 3 years, a pandemic.
Yeah.
But people will buy a story.
Yeah.
They will 100% buy into the story.
Yeah.
Like how much of the story of building this product have you shared?
Not much. And I know that like the kind of person that I always look up to is like Hannah Koumakis with Real Rad Food. And I think she is the greatest definition of people buying into her. And she showed, like, everyone knows her. They think Real Rad Food, they think Hannah. And so I'm like, I kind of want that to be Do the Series, they think me. But then I'm like, I want to also be really professional. And so it's really hard. I'm like, do I jump on and do I talk? Or do I, like, the balance?
No, you have, like, a brand here that is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, like, and also, like, platform specific. So, like, we can talk a little bit about Connor's one, and if you want to have a look at his, is the Plaza. And literally his whole journey has been day 1, day 2 of starting a clothing brand, day 3 starting a clothing brand. And that's the only content you've done, right? Nothing else. And he's over 10,000 now. That was 46 days ago now. So he's day 46.
Wow.
And what follower count? 10,000 something. Yeah, 10,000.
Yeah.
And he sold a whole bunch of teas. Not like mind-blowing that he can quit here yet. He's still slave to me for a bit. But like he started, right?
Yeah.
People are mostly buying it for the journey because there's no real difference to buying his or Nike or whatever, or whatever the other skate brands and stuff are. But like people buy into his story.
I did try that on my Do the Series TikTok account.
Yeah.
And then I guess like every time I'd go and work on Do the Series, I'd film something. This is what I worked on today. And it just didn't really get too much traction.
Yeah.
And I've obviously talked about it on my podcast, but I kind of just given up because I'm...
No, I reckon this is the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, this is the channel.
Yeah.
You just align it to budgets. How the behavior that it takes to journal every day is the same behavior it takes to budget properly.
Okay,
Of course it is, right?
Yes.
The reason you journal every day is because you're used to doing daily activity.
Yeah.
It's probably it's probably how your brain has given itself its ability to focus, because you probably sound a little bit like me, where like you're all over here every other day, but then you have your things you hyper focus in on. So aligning it to that allows you to like make it content for this.
Yeah, true.
And soon as you get, this, like soon as you get a video go to 1 million or 100,000 or stuff, you'll get 20 sales or 30 sales. And if you tell a story around it too, like how it's done stuff or how it's helped or how you launched it, or the fact that, hey, we're in Max now, like how cool is this? Like people get excited to support.
Yeah, okay.
Like I always talk about like, there's these, I watch Linus Tech Tips on YouTube, which you probably haven't watched because it's super nerdy, geeky, like PC crap.
Yeah.
And this guy Linus, he's massive, like 16 million followers. Across all their thing, they got like 40 million followers or something like that. They're massive. But they're PC reviewers, right? And for 3 years, he built 2 products, a backpack and a screwdriver. And he showed the story of him building it and why he was doing it. Like he couldn't find the thing he wanted. So he spent millions trying to do this. And then when he released it, like he sold like something like 50,000 units of the bag, 70,000 units of the screwdriver. We're talking like $250 for the bag, $70 for the screwdriver. I bought both.
What? Because you brought into the story.
Oh, because I bought into the story. I bought into the story, and I wanted to support him because of what he was doing. Like I really genuinely love his content, and if by buying that he can make more, then great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and then I get more stuff out of him because he's given me more than I've given him. Yeah. So like people buy into that.
Yeah.
I think you should consolidate the brands. Like you have like shop facing brands, which is fine. But like this, you've already got the audience. They already love you for what you do.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to like completely flex into a new thing.
Yeah.
Just align them.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon you're more likely to get that aligned than you are the wedding photography.
Definitely.
That's like a whole left field thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Like when I saw that too in this, like that video there, I was kind of like, man, this is like, it's kind of cool because you're trying to monetize your skill set, but also so left field.
Yeah. And you can see it because it's not obviously resonating.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like people haven't come to you to watch you in your life doing some other stuff. They come to you because they want to grow.
Yeah.
So this is helping people grow.
Yeah.
I can't see it being too hard to
true.
do it. And also you'll find new audiences too because they will. What you can't do though is like give up too early. Everyone does that. Like even like we talk about, if we go back to Connor's situation, but it's the same with anyone. It's just easier to talk about him right now. Is like it's time and market is what's the biggest factor, not virality. For when you're trying to sell and build audience. Like I've been doing daily vlogs since the start of the year, and I'm not good like these guys are making content, right? Like these guys are like awesome. They make this dude does like one vlog and it gets like 100,000. I barely got 100,000 all year, but that's not the point. The point is that like consistency wins all the time. And I have this like small but like very loyal following who like always comes back to watch. And my vlogs have like properly made us money. Like we've got one client that we picked up, the Smiths in Spain, and you know, we'd signed them a 15k deal or euro deal the other day, so we get 20% of that. Like that's purely off these vlogs. And
so it's converting.
It's just converting. Like you're building the small but dedicated audience who are like real keen.
Definitely.
And I mean, even the guy I talked to today, Zimri, like he came from that. Like there's heaps of people coming from it. More so than our company TikTok, which is like 380,000 followers and gets millions of views. We got our biggest client from that. So that is a thing. Like 1NZ came through that. But like, I mean, we haven't been consistent there recently. So all those leads stopped. Our leads have almost come to a halt on our company one because we've not been consistent. And the storylines haven't been consistent. So that's something like Joni and I are working on, like, how do we do that? But my like personal TikTok, like, I get like, if I get over 1,000 views, I'm like, sweet, good video. I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. And when I got like 9,000 on the weekend, I was like, oh, people are watching. This is amazing. But it converts way more. Like, it just converts. So I would say that there. You would end up. The guys who do this properly, like even like Lisa Perez, like hers all comes from this. Like just telling the story and talking about stuff. People just want to support her. She sees spikes.
She posts every day.
Exactly. But I would actually wanted to ask about with their series is this community piece. So it's a bit hard to see like the size of it or where it lives and all that sort of stuff. Like tell me about that community because you've got like multiple locations and stuff. You got people who are part of it. Like give me the whole breadth of it.
Okay, so it was last year in March and I was just chilling and I was like, wait, I just had this like epiphany. I was like, hold up, how are people making friends? Like generally, how are people making friends?
Making friends at adults sucks.
You know, like what if you're like a contractor? What if you're a freelancer? Literally impossible. If you're not in a church, a club, or you know, that's it. A gym. Like really, even with a gym, it's hard. And I was like, no one's done anything. What? And so literally that night, I'm the kind of person that just like doesn't really think of something. I'm just like, let's do it.
Cool.
And so I created something called Do Life Together. And the next day I changed the handle because I hated it. And I was like, actually, why don't I like put it underneath like Dear the series and make it Dear Community? Hence why I've done Dear Brides. It's like
I love it. The branding's awesome.
And then I've got Dear Listener, my podcast as well. So Dear Community, I was like, actually, this is all about community and I want people to be able to come together and just meet and just like form friendships and community and just make it like really beautiful, you know? And so I originally had it from 18 to 30, then I expanded it 18 to 35. And it started off in Auckland and I was like, sweet, I'll just do like monthly events. And I posted one video and it got 150,000 straight away. And I got 4,000 followers in the first 2 weeks on Instagram. And then it stayed very stagnant about like 4,000, 5,000. And then we jumped again to 10,000 recently. So we've got 10,000 followers in 1 year. And it grew from being in Auckland. And then I started getting people from Wellington and Christchurch saying, hey, can you do an event? And I was like, okay. So like one weekend I could fly to Wellington. The next I could do Christchurch. And I was like, hang on, no, this is ridiculous. Like I need to learn to trust and delegate. I'm really bad with that. And so, I was like, why don't I just see if someone wants to volunteer? But I'm like, oh, no one wants to volunteer for this. You know, it's like, it's my thing. And like, what if, no, people so wanted to be part of it. And one girl messaged me the other day and she goes, Hannah, like, this is my whole life. Like, I live for this.
Yeah.
And she's a leader and she's amazing. She's in Christchurch and she just devotes her entire life to deaf community.
Cool.
She's like, this is what makes me me. And so currently we've got, like I said, 10,000 people across New Zealand, 35 leaders across 15 different cities in New Zealand.
Amazing.
And then we've launched in Australia, so 5 different cities in Australia.
Amazing.
15 different leaders, and then in London and Berlin as
Yeah,
well.
I saw that.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely it's doing really well in New Zealand, Australia, and then in Europe it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
People are just different over there. And so, yeah, New Zealand is where it's at. Because you don't have, like, when I lived in London, there's Facebook pages that people actively go on. New Zealand, those pages are weird.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, I wanted to create something that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, the pages are weird, and you go on there and you're like, okay, this is kind of strange. And so I wanted to create a place for girls to be like, hold up, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool.
So it's my baby. I'm currently going through my lawyers to make it into a charitable trust, so that, because I don't want it to be a business. My accountant's like, why don't you make it a business? I'm like, I don't want to be making money from them.
Yeah.
I do, however, want to be making enough money to pay myself to do it.
Yep.
Just a normal, wage, so that I can quit my job, because this is where my heart is, and then be able to focus more on this. But I'm not going to be able to do that unless I turn it into a charitable trust and go for grants and funding for the government. So it's been massive.
Yeah.
I spend about 20 hours per week on it on top of my full-time job.
Yeah,
it's
nice. Huge. So, like, on that charitable trust path, a lot of people do this, in my opinion, like it's too much of a handout way.
Yeah.
They don't see the big opportunity. The big opportunity is the brand it builds you.
Yes, yeah.
That there sells all that. It sells everything else. It builds everything. Like, you just leverage your brand. Like, it's like the Yes Theory guys. Do you watch their stuff? It's like them, right? Like, they don't have to charge anything because they make money. They got ATTN and stuff now. But, like, originally when they started, it was always about, like, just do the cool stuff and then things would come and it builds their brand, and now they can do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, the same with this. Like, you've obviously got people who care and, like, are really keen to be a part of it. Don't worry about monetizing them. People are smart enough to find their own way.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of digital marketers and stuff who are, like, in our industry, who are like, oh, you've got to have, like, optimized clicks and, like, make it real easy for people to buy stuff and all this sort of crap. But, like, actually, if people want something, they'll find their way.
Yeah.
Like, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out how to get to your thing to purchase and buy. And they'll watch your other content because they'll be like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Like, it's on, like, where people make mistakes is not tagging and not making it easy for people to find out who you are.
Yeah.
So, like, this community needs to know where you live elsewise.
Exactly.
They'll find your way over.
Yeah, one person said, oh, you should take away your profile and everything. I was like, no, it needs to be, like, I want people to think, dear community, I want them to think me, so that when I go to an event, they go, oh, familiarity, like, this is someone that I know.
Yeah.
Like, rather than I don't know anyone, you know? So I want them to be like, oh, I've met you before. Wait, no, I haven't, but I met you through social media, you know?
Then it just becomes a sales and marketing arm, which means you don't have to monetize it.
Yeah.
Because you're making, you think of it as an expense to your main business, which is selling this sort of stuff or, $6,000 wedding packages. But I think it's cool. Like, I do agree. Like, we talk about this all the time. Like, it's real hard to make friends as adults. Especially, like, so me and my partner Claire, like, we always talk about how it's really hard to make friends as business owners as adults. Yeah. Because, like, we have our, like, people who work for us, but they don't want to hang out with their boss on weekends and shit, right? Let's be honest. And fair enough, I wouldn't either. But like, finding couples who don't have kids, like we don't have kids, who own their own businesses, like, where do we go? Yeah. So, like, we go to a gym, but like at the end of the day, like, for me, gym's a bit more meditative. Like, I don't want to speak to people at that time. Like, it's for me to do my thing and I get out. Yeah. And so we have, like, one set of friends that are a couple that don't have kids. And we got another good friend that just recently had a kid, so we see them less often now. And it's like, where do you go to make friends? Like, how do you do that? And we're just one demographic of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, there isn't like a place for it.
I know. And I've had people saying, like, people have really been hurtful as well. They're like, oh, you're discriminating against people that are 36. You know, and I'm like, well, I'm so sorry, you know. But unfortunately, an 18-year-old to 35, it's too, anything over that is too high. And people are like, why don't you just expand it to, unlimited? And I'm like, You know, not yet. And I think, look, and then a lot of guys, why aren't you doing it to guys? You're discriminating against guys. And I'm like, I'm not a guy, so I can't do it. Yes, I could get someone on and do it.
Yeah.
But I think guys are more reserved in terms of, I don't know, they're not you can't appeal to them in a cool aesthetic way for Instagram. Like maybe you could, I just don't know the mind, you know?
But also,
I don't know what you guys think. But.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there are ways to appeal to them on Instagram.
Like, would you guys...
But like...
would you guys go to something that's on Instagram? It's like, meet some guy friends.
No.
No, that's the thing.
No. But like, it's not your job to do that.
Yeah.
And so like when people say like, you know, like it's like if people went to Nike and be like, why don't you just make hamburgers? Like I want a fucking Nike hamburger. Nike's just gonna go, fuck off, like, you know, like you know what I mean, like, or you know, why doesn't KFC do beef burgers? Like you're discriminating against cows, like you know, like, but you know what I mean? Like that's how dumb that question is. Like that's silly what I just said.
Yeah, exactly.
But so is them saying the things to you.
Yeah.
You like when people do that, you say, yeah, great. You should start that. That's exactly what you should do.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
True.
You are right on the money there.
Yeah.
Here's what I did.
Yeah.
Do the same.
Yeah. And it is hard work. Like I did see, I came across today that someone copied very, very similar to what I'm doing. But I was like, you know what? I don't really care because all I want is for people to make friends. Good. If they create something and they help more people, good on them.
We love
but
copying.
I think they don't unfortunately know the work that it takes.
Copying's good.
Yeah.
Now you want copiers.
Oh really?
If you're not getting copiers, then what you're doing sucks.
Yeah.
If it's not worth copying, then it's not worth doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
No.
True.
We love copying. We give away all our stuff. Like I know people that I know real well that have been in the studio. Yeah. Who like literally take all my resources and then go start a business model based on it. And then they turn up the next week and look me in the eye like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't care. Like they're not you. They're never going to have what you have. Yeah. And if they're better than you at it, then shame on you. You should be better. Yeah. Like learn from it. Yeah. Like they took it was like Google beating Yahoo. You know, it's like shame on you, Yahoo. Yes, you should have improved. You saw them taking the world. Definitely. You had a chance. You had the user base. Alta Vista, all those old things that you guys are too, only Chris can know. Yeah. None of you guys know it. There was a world before Google. But like, yeah, so anyway, my thought process on that, like you love the copying. Yeah. But also like that's actually a cool thing to share on your personal channel too, like the process you took to build it. Yeah, true. Because actually you do want to help more people and you've actually got a model where people don't have to copy, they can join. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you talk about that more, then they're probably less likely to copy because then they're just like, why don't I just do it with you? Yeah. This is cool. I want to be involved. True. And then when the guys come and be like, oh, what about the boys? Yeah. Like, bro, the boys can take care of themselves. Like, go do it yourself, bro. Yes. Like, go get some beers and nah. Yeah. I love it. So, okay, charitable trust. Get it all sorted up. Yeah. Keep it separate.
Because I think I want people like, oh, you're making money from your chat. Because obviously, like, I have a lot of costs, so much that people don't realize. You know, I have lawyer, I have an accountant. Like, this is a lot of money, and so I charge like $2 to $5 per event additional. So if we go 10 bowling, I'll charge $15 rather than 10. That's how we literally survive. And I've never touched anything. I've never paid myself anything. And it's so defeating when people are like, you're just making money. It's like, and I want that behind me saying it's a non-profit, like it's actually legit. And currently just in the process of it, so people don't realize that just yet. But I'm excited to have that finally across the line.
Do you share the budget breakdowns?
No.
You should. You should start sharing business budgets.
Yeah.
Like, this is how much ticket sales we got. Yeah. This is the actual cost. This is how much I paid out of my pocket. You know? Like,
and then time as well. Like, they don't...
Yeah, put time in it at the end. So like, this is like physical. This is how much time we put. This is our
like if rate. You scroll down and go on to click onto that first one, New Zealand, click onto Instagram. I don't know if it'll bring it up. You can see how many events I just posted last night. So we've got the June events there. Yeah. And so there's like we've got 15 different events here. That one, in the caption. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, so we've got 15 different events, and I have to go and liaise with all the different leaders, and working out. And also one thing that you did mention, which kind of utilizing what I've created to make money, hopefully in the future, is doing. Hey, like I've got 10,000 girls that are your demographic. Like let's work together. I literally my insights are extremely high. I get 4,000 people viewing my story, which hopefully is good.
Yeah, as a percentage, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I'm like, it's doing pretty well in terms of that aspect. So if I do want to work with brands, I don't want it to come across as like, I'm just trying to make money through that. So I have to be very careful. But I'm like, well, I could utilize in a way.
So that's simple. Like when you get brand deals for here, just put it all back in and start being transparent on your personal channel about the budgets.
Yeah.
You should 100% shift to business budgets.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like, every kid has a fucking side hustle these days. So you're helping them now budget in life, budget in business. Like, if you think how little people budget personally, right? And you, someone who does, and then you don't have it here, then what do you think about your list? None of them have got it, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you do that. So you're transparent about where the money's going. You get brand deals through this because like, perfect target audience.
Yeah.
You put all that money back into making this grow.
Yeah.
And don't even pay yourself salary. Just not initially anyway. Just put it all in.
Yeah.
But what you've done there is you've opened up dialogue with brands, and you're like, I've got my own channel that's bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Right. So now you're getting more brand deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because brand deals are all about who you know. That's it. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they don't know you, they can't ask you to get a brand deal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
That's why No Sad Cowboys exists, because
yes,
his job is Tony and his team, their job's to go out and get everyone to know them, and then be like, here's my stable of guys.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
Yeah, true.
But I mean, you could ask him for here too, and just be like, Tony, like, this is what we want.
Yeah,
you're getting more traction, more ideas. He doesn't have probably really anyone in this space as a brand. He's got all influencer brands, right? I don't think he's got any company brands underneath. Well.
No.
Organization brands. I don't think he does. So that's all you do. Like, you don't like where it goes in the future. If millions of dollars are coming in and you can pay yourself, fine. People will expect it at that stage if you're doing lots of good stuff and it's now your full-time gig.
Yeah.
But initially, you use the cloud to build relationships with brands.
Yeah.
And then you use those brands to be like, what can you do on my channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
And then that's like marketing, sales and marketing stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely a massive learning curve.
Do you ever take your books to sell at the events?
I did for one event, and I got a few sales, which is good. But I really am cautious of coming across because Do the Series essentially is my biggest sponsor. Yeah. Because they do pay for things. Yeah. And so you could see their Do the Series parent company, and so that's really the only time that I've really talked about it because I don't want it to come across like one person commented and said the whole reason why you're doing this is to sell your journals. You're not doing it for anything else, and that crushed me because I'm like, it's so opposite. Yeah. But it is also the only way that I make money. So I don't think I've posted much.
Those like we always, like, especially me and Nate, my CD here, we always talk about like the more hate you're getting, the better.
Really?
Yeah, because it means like there's always a percentage of people who are going to hate. That's life. Yeah. It's got to be in their bonnet. The more people you get hating you means the more people you get loving you. And if you do it well, what happens is you don't have to defend yourself. Yeah. Your community will. Yes. They'll defend you anyway. You've probably seen it in comments where people are like, shut up.
Oh my gosh, I had one video about the McDonald's story. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Oh, yeah, tell us now.
Hey, people, like, it was brutal. Yeah. Someone says, why hasn't natural selection taken you already? I was like, oh.
People are shit.
My brother actually don't read the comments and I haven't.
Which one is it? Bad. Just so we know.
It's a little bit further down.
Just so we know to watch it.
I got burned by McDonald's coffee. Honestly, if I was in America, really? I could sue them. 100% I could sue them. That one there, me in my pajamas.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll watch it later.
Oh, yeah. And so I got burnt by McDonald's coffee. And what I did is I posted the video like down a little bit more, the full version. It didn't do too well. So I was like, you know what? I said to my brother, why don't I make a real concise video? Yeah. Obviously, I left out a lot of key information. So people just attacked me full on, like, you dumb girl, like, for not blowing on your coffee. That unbeknown to them, I burnt myself after 5 minutes of it, being out. I just like tested it on my lip and then it went onto my tongue and it severely burnt me. And so, I just got so much hate, and I haven't looked at the comments because he's like, don't, it will ruin you.
Yeah. If you can't handle it, don't do it. But like, honestly, like, hate comments are good. You got to curate them right the right way. Like, with, I don't know if you've seen the stuff that we did with 1NZ's rebrand, but like, people hated the rebrand.
Oh, really? Oh wait, was it you guys that did the video about
them reading mean comments? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. So like, that was our whole thing, was like, you can't escape this. So lean into it.
Yes, yeah.
That video itself went so well that like TikTok's here tomorrow to come see us because they're like, how did you do that? But like my point of the story is that we knew what would happen. And what happened is that they went from like 99.9% of their comments being hateful comments all through all their socials to now we have like people defending them.
Oh, wow.
We have people like making mean comments and being like, just jokes, but please put me in your next video.
Oh, wow.
And then we've got like Mel, our comm management person.
Yeah.
She's like, people will say something nasty. She'll say something back in a tongue-in-cheek way. And then they'll be like, oh, nah, just jokes, I love you. And like, she'll like turn people around.
Yeah. I thought that was great.
Oh, epic. And there's more of it coming
Yeah.
in different styles.
Yeah.
But my point of the story is that like, that's a big brand with entrenched hate through a community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And within like 2 videos, we like probably 20% of the audience has already switched.
Wow.
So by the time we get through it, like we'll have like a much more leaning that way. So if you do stuff and you get hate, if you do it the right way and you think about it properly, like what's human behavior going to do when I do this thing?
Yes.
You can curate how that hate exists. It can still be there. Do you want it actually? And it'll only get more the bigger you get.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't be shy away from it, which means that like this stuff, like you funding it, just be super transparent.
Yeah.
Make sure on this channel it's got everything.
Yeah.
You know, you got like the budget stuff I think is awesome. Like I would watch that sort of content myself, like which I'm probably not your demographic, but I would watch people who break down business, break down budgets, how do they do stuff, being else.
Yeah.
But you do it in your style, which is very unique to you.
Yeah.
And then when you go into the, like you have your events, don't just do your stuff. Like why not have like a little market, like 3 or 4 vendors where you get some of the girls who are in your group. Yeah. Like, hey, have anyone got a side hustle? Like we're thinking of doing 2 or 3 stalls.
Yeah.
That's so then you can rotate yours through it.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, I'm doing mine this month along with it. I couldn't find any more. We did that. Like we used to have a little clothing line in London when I was there, me and my brother. And we got invited to a couple of those sorts of situations. Like one was the New Zealand League community in UK, which is huge because heaps of league players go over there to play contract-wise. And so there's like 100 guys or something, and we'd like been selling the t-shirt markets, like getting like we'd get like 6 sales a weekend and be like, yeah, we cracked it this weekend. Yeah. And that one day we sold like 50 t-shirts. Yeah. And we're selling for like 35 quid. So like, they weren't cheap t-shirts for London, right? Most markets you sell $10, 10 quid. So we sold like 50 of them or something like that because people are in the mood, there's the community like you care about and stuff like that. So like, I reckon if you had 2 or 3 people going, hey, you have to offer some sort of discount or value to the other guys or like buy one, whatever. But you're getting them extra attention. You're bringing this thing to these people, so giving them value as well. It's like, it's all good story stuff. And then you can do it too. Yeah. But you be super transparent around it. Yeah. And then especially if you're doing like your budgets and everyone knows, shit, she's losing money every month because of the time she puts in. And then you go and say, oh, nah, I've made back all that time now. Yeah. Because I sold 12 copies. Yeah. Something like that, you know?
So would I add in like how much I spend, like the hours I spend?
I reckon you should like figure that out. I think you should do it anyway because you should for your business, like how much time you put in. But like you do like revenue cost, hard costs, and then you do like opportunity cost. Yeah. Okay. Because you're startup, right? Yes. Most startup costs are opportunity costs. Yeah. Because what else could you be doing? You could be stacking shelves at Countdown and make money out of that time. Yeah. Yeah. So how much money, what's my time worth? Yeah. I think I'm worth $40 an hour when I do this sort of work. Yeah. Yeah. And I've spent 12 hours on it. So that is a real, like if I was to pay someone to come and do this, that's how much I would have to pay.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. You should do that. Yeah. Like people don't do it in business and then don't really account for cost, right? Yeah. And then they charge $5.99 for 3 hours of wedding shoots. Yeah. Yeah. That's a full segue back to the start of this conversation. We're about 7 minutes to the hour. Oh, wow. So I reckon that's about enough. And the guys are probably like annoyed that they have to edit this much footage. Oh yeah, they don't need it. And yeah, we don't need it. We're not editing anything. Anything I've missed that you really wanted to get across? Or any last questions you have for me based on all the crap I just spoke at you? Or
there's just like a lot that I'm trying to absorb, you know? Yeah, lots to think about. I think, I do really want to be able to get to a point where I can quit my job because I just see so much potential so much potential in all the other things I'm doing. And I'm like, I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got another business where I buy and sell clothes on Instagram, and then consulting work as well. And I'm like, I just like, I want, and I know that the biggest thing standing in my way is my job, you know, but I'm like, I don't make enough money elsewhere. It's like, when do I get to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to just try it.
Yeah, you need runway. You need runway. You need enough money in your savings to go, I got 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, the moment you're at that point, and even if you are, I mean, you got a mortgage, so that's going to be a lot more than most
my
people.
tenants are paying for
there you
rent,
go. So 6 months of runway.
Yeah.
Then you just bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah.
If your career's not something you want for the future.
Yeah, exactly. Which
don't let me be the person who told you to quit your job.
Yeah.
But if it is something that you actually long term, like it's the same with this business. Like we had 2 years running costs banked when we moved here. We're in a different position, right? Like I ran hotels for a little bit. Like we were at a different stage of life to where you are, so we could have that money.
Yeah.
Your budgeting technique, like I had the envelopes, right? Same sort of thing, like pulling the money out. Like I budgeted the same way that you do it yourself. So we always had decent amount of savings and things. Yeah. So we had 2 years runway, which what it meant is I could focus on long game approaches. Like we don't, like this here, like the cost here, this is stupid. Yeah. Like what a waste of money for any normal business.
Yes, yeah.
But I can do it, and we've been able to do this for the 3.5 years of this business because like I understand what it does long term.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand how much benefit it'll grow, like especially as we want to move into like the creator business management space as well, like what it does for showcasing the value we can provide as a team and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So for you, if you can get 6 month runway, you've already got some revenue coming. Yeah. Like we literally had zero, right? We moved countries, started fresh, completely different industry from Australia at this point. So I was in Melbourne, moved back to New Zealand, got out of the hospitality industry, which I was running hotels in, and then didn't even know what I was going to do. Oh, so that's why I had 2 years. Yeah. And then I built a marketing agency. What the fuck? So ours was a little bit different, but you've already got some revenue.
Yes, yeah.
So you just need to go, okay, I got 6 months.
Yeah.
I can survive. You know how to budget, so you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then go all in. Just pull trigger on it. Because it changes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like your whole mindset changes when all you got is focus. You probably need to turn that 6 down to 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Go all in on it.
Yeah.
I love the deer. Like we didn't even get into this and I wanted to, but like I love the whole branding. I know you said, I should change it, but like.
Well, I'll change I'll keep it Dear Brides, but in terms of like the logo and stuff, it's just a bit
that's fine.
But honestly, I think Dear, because it's meant to be like Dear Diary. Like those are the 2 words that were with me throughout my whole life. Dear Diary. Yeah. So that's why.
Branding is so little about the logo.
Oh, really?
Doesn't mean our logo was made some dude in Fiverr.
Oh, really?
Like, on Design Pickle, actually. Like a brand is what it represents and how it makes people feel. And I feel like yours has like such cohesiveness to it. No, I really like it. I really like this sort of thing. I think this is cool. This is real like Squarespace, eh? It's like they're like real nice aesthetics. Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe you're young and you're like, you want this like Gen Z, what is it called?
Aesthetic?
What their aesthetic's called ironicism or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like the hard shadows. And
yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is. I love it. So beautiful. Wow.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
You see it all in my personal as well.
It's like stunning. Every photographer who's ever been trained is like cringing right now going, you fucking hard shadows. Learn how to use light. Dick.
I love it. So good.
Nah, I love it. That's when you know trends are working, when you have older generations get upset about it. Yeah. It's because it is. It's like people got upset by like every change and thing, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got then.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for
good.
the chat.
Really, really good.
Cool. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right.